Have you ever seen a disc rotating on a fixed axis? Like this fan. It has a disc in the center, then 3 blades, and it is all with respect to a fixed axis. The fan will move. You will see activity. You will see expenditure of energy. You will see something happening. And the fan may move, rotate at a fast speed. But the fan will stay where it is. Why? In spite of so much of movement, the fan will stay where it is. Why? Because of the axis. All the movement is around the axis. The axis is firm. The axis allows for movement of the blades, but not its own movement. This is a machine. The fan is a machine. The mind can act like the fan, move a lot, burn a lot of energy, and actually remain what it is. Just a slave to somebody else's commands. Somebody pushes the switch, somebody designs the fan, somebody gets pleasure from the fan. The fan remains a fan, hung on the ceiling. The same ceiling, the same spot, and even if it is displaced by somebody else. The fan never reaches anywhere. That is the definition of the machine. The machine remains a machine. Even the most evolved machine will never become a non-machine. In contrast, think of a situation where the front axle of your car is damaged and needs repair. I'm sure many of us know a thing or two about cars and have sometimes driven their cars to service stations. There's something wrong with the front axle of your car and you want it repaired. What do you do now? You drive it to the garage, the mechanic. How do you drive it? What happens then? A disc on an axis rotates. Look at the tires. What are they? Are they not discs on two ends of an axis, which you call as the axle? Are they not? There is rotation there just as there is rotation in the fan. But there something else is happening. There the quality of rotation is such that not only is the disc moving, actually the disc is taking the axis ahead along with itself. Here the movement of the disc has no effect on the axis. This is a machine. This is called rigid ego. Whatever may happen would happen around me. Whatever happens would not and never change me. And there is another movement of the mind, another movement of the disc, another movement of the tires, where not only does the disc rotate, it actually carries the axis forward. And if the axis is taken to the right place, to the mechanic, then it gets repaired. It may get changed, substituted. This is the mind rushing for repair. That repair is called as love. This is called the movement of the heart into the heart. Something that is not right is wanting to be set right and is hence going towards its goal. The patient is rushing towards the doctor. The car is rushing towards the mechanic. This is love. One goes to the one who would bring peace to him. Mind you, there is movement in both. The mind as lover and the mind as machine. Both show a lot of movement. But you must know the difference in the two movements. When the mind is acting as the machine, then the movement is all on the periphery. The center does not move. The center is preserved. In fact, if the center starts shaking, then somebody comes to ensure that the center remains intact. That center is the ego. Whatever you do as a result of the ego and to preserve the ego. That is normal human life. That is what we usually observe around us and within us. A lot of action, a lot of change, but not at all a change of the center. The periphery would change. The clothes would change. The labels would change. The colors would change. The language would change. But the essence would not be allowed to change. That is ego. The fan may keep rotating for 20 years. It would still remain the same. Even though there has been a lot of movement. Most of our movement is like the movement of the fan blades. The inessential, the peripheral is allowed to change and move. The central disease is protected. The center of the personality is never exposed, revealed, or allowed to be cured. Rather be like the tires that will never move ahead without carrying the axis too with them. Instead of being like the fan, be like the tire. The tire does not move ahead without carrying the axis. If I will move, the axis will also move. This is called as the right action. This is the action which results in the very change of the center. Your action can serve to preserve the center, or your action can serve to dissolve the center. What is the quality of our action? On the quality of our action depends the quality of our life. Our life could have the quality of a machine, or our life could have the quality of a lover. In both the cases, it would appear that movement is happening. Somebody is doing something. Somebody is acting, speaking, making decisions, moving through life. But don't be mistaken, not all movements are the same. Mostly we move just to not to move. Mostly our movement is just pretense. Mostly we do just so that we don't have to do. Mostly we change only to not to change. Being like a car tire is a little difficult. You act in order to dissolve. You are moving to a place where you would no more remain the same. The mechanic may pull the axle out and replace it. The mechanic may declare that both the tires are also gone and they too should now make way. So there is great danger in this kind of movement. It's like committing suicide. You are rushing to a point from which there may be no return. The tires and the axle and the car may reach the service station but never return as they reached. There is the danger of death. How do you move? If you move like the fan, then you are a machine. If you move like a car tire, then you have a heart. Do you dare to move, to dissolve? Do you have the guts to rush towards your own end? Or would you just keep indulging in terrified acts of self-defense?